Today, I'm going to be sharing with you our hand-picked match prediction events for this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And these games have been handpicked to share them with you, which will be backed up by some stats and analytics to help you make your picks in the list to boost your winning by a greater percent. So we have a total of 13 games, but of course, to access all of these games, you want to make sure to become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan. By joining this package plan, you're going to have access to all our game pick prediction for this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And to those of you who want to join so as to access all of this game, then you want to make sure to access the link below this video. Click and join to become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan to start to have access to all our game prediction, especially match prediction for big league events like Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, Bundesliga, and other big league events, and corner kick match prediction event as well, with over 1.5 and 2.5 goal match picks, with each odds to take your winning to the next level. For you to join, the link is below this video. You want to click, navigate, and join to become a member and start to have access to all of these features to take your winning to the next height. So without wasting time, I'll begin with the first event of this coming weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Looking at the first event, we looked at Germany in the Bundesliga, a match between Bayern Munich against Leipzig. This is going to run on Friday, the 20th. And looking at this event, of course, I want to share with you the recent game performance of the home team, Bayern Munich, based on recent event they have had. They are very offensive. Comparing to that of its opponent, on the other hand, they also try to score at least between 2 to 3 goals per each event. Looking at the recent head-to-head they just met, this same here, Bayern Munich played at home, it lead by 2-1. This time, Bayern Munich is still having a good form. And looking at the stand comparisons in terms of the home and away, looking at the form, Bayern Munich, which is the home, proved to be on a good stand, and they lead this table, sitting on the first place. They have had 5 events played recently, 4 lead, scoring 15 goals and conceding 3. Very offensive and very defensive. But Leipzig, on the other hand, which is the away team, sit here based on the way on the 3rd position. The defensive power is not as tough as that of Bayern Munich, and the offensive power is also not as tough as that of Bayern Munich. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. For this particular event, of course, Bayern Munich have more offense as compared to Leipzig. And the fact that the offensive power of Bayern Munich is very high, we're looking at it to take advantage of his strike power to either lead this match in full time or looking at just 1.5 or 2 goals over to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, is going to be in the England Championship. This is going to run on the 21st, that is Saturday. We are looking at Leeds against Oxford United. The recent performance of Leeds, based on recent game played, have proved to be offensive as compared to Oxford that tend to concede a lot of goals. Looking at the stance comparison of these two in terms of recent game they have had, comparing Leeds in terms of the form of at home, you're going to see that Leeds, of course, based on the home performance, tend to sit here on the first place. They lead this table. Sitting on the first place on the league table, they have recently had 5 events, having all the 5 wins, scoring 13 goals and conceding 1. A very high offense and a very high defense as well. But that of its opponent, on the other hand, proved that the defensive power is not very strong. As you can see, Oxford United is very weak in terms of defense, and the offense is also not very good. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks in full time. Looking at this particular game played, of course, the performance of Leeds have proved to be very offensive based on recent events they have had. Its opponent, on the other hand, have a weak defense, and of course, we are looking at Leeds to take advantage of the weak defense of the away to lead in full time as one of the major picks. And we also want to look at the possibility of at least 1.5 goal in full time or lead to score 1 goal over. Looking at the next year, we'll look at Scotland in the Premiership. This is going to run on the 21st, that is Saturday. We are looking at Rangers against Dundee. In this event, of course, the performance of Rangers based on recent events they have had have proved to be very offensive, scoring at least 3 to 4 goals and even 6 goals per each event. Its opponent, Dundee, on the other hand, is not very offensive. And looking at the recent performance which they have had this same year, they have met 3 times, and the recent gameplay, the last head-to-head, which are the most recent 2 events, Rangers has lead 5-2 and 3-0. This time, of course, Rangers is still having a very big offense. Looking at the performance in terms of the recent gameplay by Rangers in terms of form comparing to that of Dundee at home, Rangers sit on the 2nd place. After Celtic, the lead in terms of goals, scoring 12 goals for 5 events. Very offensive and defensive, conceding just 2. that of the opponent Dante, on the other hand, which is the away team, based on the away game played. They prove that the defensive power is very weak and the offense is average. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at two major picks in full time. For this particular event, the recent two head-to-head have always proved that the Rangers has lead with a very huge goal difference, 3 to 5 goals. This time, of course, Rangers still have a very good form and having a lead after Celtic to lead the table in terms of home performance or offense. Of course, the defense of its opponent is not very tough. We still want to look at Rangers to lead in full time as one of the major picks, as well as the possibility of 1.5 and 2.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. These are our two major picks for this particular event. Looking here at the next pick, we look at Greece in the Super League. This is going to run on the 21st, that is Saturday, a match between Olympiacos playing against Lamia. For this event, the performance of Olympiacos based on recent events have proved that they are good. And looking at that of Lamia, on the other hand, the defensive line is not very tough. Looking at the recent head-to-head they have just had, they have met about 4 times this same year, and all the times which they have met, Olympiacos Pyros has always lead. And looking at the most recent 2 head-to-head, Olympiacos have lead, that is 4 against 1, 3 against 0. The offensive power this time is still very tough. And looking at the stand performance in terms of recent game played, of course, Olympiacos in terms of form based on home game played have proved that the offensive power is good. Sitting on the second place, they have scored 13 goals for 5 events played and winning 4, conceding 4. They are very offensive and the defense is not weak. Comparing to that of Lamia, on the other hand, of course, Lamia sit right here on the last position with a very weak defense. Of course, the home team is going to take advantage of that weak defense. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, Olympiacos is still very offensive, and the recent game they have played have proved that Olympiacos still will take advantage of the weak defense of the away. And since the away defensive line is not tough, we want to look at Olympiacos to take this advantage to lead in full time as one of the major picks. We also want to look at the possibility of 1.5 goal or 2.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. Looking at the next, we'll look at Italy in the Serie A, Atalanta against Empoli. For this event, Atalanta have proved to be good in terms of recent game they have had, scoring between 2 to 3 goals per each event. Its opponent, on the other hand, is not very good in terms of the defensive line, even though they do score, but of course, they're also not strong in defense. Looking at the recent head-to-head, which is just met, Atalanta play at home in lead by 2-0. This time, the form of Atalanta is still good. And looking here at the recent performance in terms of form, comparing the performance of home by Atalanta, you're going to see that they are the best on this table, standing on the first place. They've had 5 events played, 5 leads, scoring 17 goals and conceding 4. The offensive power is very good and the defense is also good. That of Empoli, on the other hand, is not very tough in terms of defense. And looking at the defensive power of Empoli, you're going to see that the defense is not very tough. And looking at everything in place, we want to look at 2 major picks here in full time. For this particular event, of course, we want to look at Atalanta to take advantage of the weak defense of the away. The fact that they still maintain a good form, and the last head-to-head, they have always lead, of course. We are looking at Atalanta to still take that advantage. The fact that its offensive power is very tough, to take advantage of the weak defense to lead in full time as one of the major picks. And we also want to look at least 1.5 goal to occur in this match in full time. And to those of you who want to have access to all our 13 game prediction, of course, we have just shared 5. It is remaining 8 of the event to make a complete of 13. If you want to have access to all of these are our hand event game prediction picks, which of course will be backed up by stats and analytics. To access the remaining part of it, of course, you want to make sure to join to become a member of the Level 2 Pro plan so that you're going to have access to all these game predictions. And of course, to join the Level 2 Pro plan, the link is below this video. You want to join to become a member and start to have access to all of these features to take your winning to the next height. So good luck and see you again in the next upload, and bye-bye for now.